School time for Sammy. Let's read this book today. School time for Sammy. And it's time to go to school. Let's see what Sammy wanted. While his brother and sister got ready for the first day of school, Sammy was busy playing. He climbed his favorite tree and swung from branch to branch, pushing books into his school bag. Fred called up, "You are old enough to go to school this year, Sammy." "I don't want to go to school." "I want to stay home and play," replied Sammy. "But school is fun and you learn all kinds of things," said Sophie. "I am not going," said Sammy, dangling upside down and making a face. "I already know everything. I know how to climb the tallest trees and I can swing really fast. So there, catch me if you can." But Fred and Sophie didn't go after him. They didn't want to be late for school. Sammy spent the morning playing, but he soon got bored without any playmates. "What's wrong, Sammy?" asked his mother when she found him moping. "There's nobody to play with," said Sam grumpily. "Well, all your friends are at school," explained his mother. "Maybe you should go too." "No way!" shouted Sammy, scrambling back up the tree. At last, Sophie and Fred returned home, chattering excitedly about their busy day. Sammy ran to greet them with an after-school snack. Sammy wanted Fred and Sophie to play with him, but they had homework to do. Sammy did not want to be left out. "I can do homework," he said, climbing onto a chair and joining them at the table. "How many days are there in April?" Fred asked Sophie. 25 90 zillion, shouted Sammy, trying to help. "Oh, Sammy, don't be silly. We are trying to work," said Sophie with a sigh. When Sammy's friend Jack came to visit, he was full of news about his new school. "The teacher is really nice, and I've learned loads of important things," said Jack proudly. "I know what 2 plus 1 plus 2 is." "So do I," said Sammy, trying to count on his fingers. "What is it then?" asked Jack. "It's a lot," he answered. "You don't know," explained Jack. "I've even learned how to write my own name," Jack continued. He picked up a stick. With his tongue clenched between his teeth, he carefully wrote J-A-K in the dirt. "I can write my name too. Look," said Sammy. "That's not writing, that's just scribbling," scoffed Jack. Poor Sammy felt embarrassed. Now, Sammy was curious about school. "What else did you do at school, Jack?" he asked. "Well, I made loads of new friends and we all played games together," said Jack. As Sammy listened, Jack told him everything he had learned. His favorite part of the day was show and tell, when people could bring in special things and share with the class. "You really did do a lot," said Sammy with a sad sigh. "I'll paint you a picture of a tree if you want," offered Jack to cheer up his friend. "That's another thing I learned today." With his eyes open wide so he wouldn't miss anything, Sammy watched as Jack brushed paint over a piece of paper. "That's the best picture in the whole world," said Sammy admiringly. After Jack left, Sammy tried to paint the tree himself, but his painting just looked like a messy blob. That night at dinner, Sammy was very quiet. He did not even feel like eating. Nobody noticed, though, because Sophie and Fred were chattering loudly about school. "I got a gold star on my spelling test," bragged Sophie. "I won a race at recesses," said Fred proudly. "Good job, both of you," said their mother and father. After dinner, Sammy decided that he wanted to be as smart as his brother and sister. Very quietly, he crept over to Sophie's school bag and took out a book. Sitting in a corner, he opened the book and tried to read it. But it was no use. The words just looked like squiggles to him. When Sophie and Fred found Sammy with the book, they read him the story. It was a thrilling tale about pirates. The next morning, Sammy woke up very early. He was very excited as he searched for the little bag his mother had made for him. When he found it, he put Ephalam, his favorite toy, carefully inside. He wanted to have something for show and tell. Sammy marched into the kitchen and announced, "I am ready!" Sammy's family looked up in surprise. "Ready for what, Sammy?" asked his father. "I want to go to school after all," declared Sammy. "I want to learn how to read and write and count and draw beautiful pictures." "That's wonderful," said his mother. "But first you'll need to have some breakfast." After breakfast, Sammy set off with Sophie and Fred, walking very quietly. "I am already a day late for school," said Sammy with a grin. "I don't want to miss any more." The end.